All right, we're gonna do just a real quick, very basic demo of the actual hollow position and how to get into a correct position and how to get your athletes into a good position. How I like to teach it is starting in a tuck first. So the shorter the lever, the less load that your core is having to control. So most important part of getting into a hollow position is making sure that your upper back is as high off the floor as possible, and then also that your low back is pressed as firmly as possible into the floor. From there, we can start to work on tucking the tailbone and starting to think about more finite details of pulling the ribs down and belly button into the spine. But very basic when you're starting off teaching someone. This is what I like to start with. So just getting into a tuck position, knees into your chest, and then we're reaching fingertips towards the wall in front of us. And then from here, when they're in as tight of a position, as tight of a tuck position as possible, then we can start to extend the lever out and start to add a little bit more load. Very little by little, making sure that their low back stays as firmly pressed into the ground as possible the entire time. And so what that would look like is we're here, and they can just ever so slightly start to extend out until they're all the way out into that hollow. Now, once they're out here, we definitely want to make sure that we're not ending up doing something that might look like this. That's super exaggerated, but so that
do that
just
again.
So you can see.
That's not cool.
This is no bueno. This is not
that.
a hollow. So there's no benefit in just doing something that looks like a hollow. You want to make sure that all those little details are understood first. And so starting in the tuck and then opening up is a great way to kind of get into a better position. And then you as the coach, you can take your hand and actually tactile cue and say, you know, if I can feel any space between your low back and the floor, then we're really not in hollow. And you can do that. And sometimes their low back will be in contact with the ground, but not as much or pressed as firmly as they possibly can. And so we can then pull them back into a little bit tighter tuck to correct it, and then after they've corrected it, then we can start to extend back out again. Some things that may happen for getting to keep their shoulder blades off the floor, so as they're extending out, then we can start to end up in this position. So just that constant reminder of reaching their fingertips forward to help keep their middle hollowed out, keeping shoulder blades up as high as possible, and then to add a little bit more load, bringing arms all the way up by our ears.